you engage other people has an impact on their work. So let's take email. Let's take a really fun subject, like email. Have you heard there's a new OCD, by the way? I'm being very serious, called email Obsessive Compulsive Disorder? I'm not kidding. My mother's a psychologist, so I always hear about these. Remember the studies of Pavlov with a dog and the bell, where he would ring the bell and the dog would salivate, and pretty soon could just ring the bell and elicit the salivation response without a treat. Remember that from learned response or conditioned response? So they say that email today is the business equivalent of Pavlov. Right? You're supposed to be working on this report and you get a little ding, you're like, you gotta check it, and we just can't. They say it's so addictive. And so I have kind of theories around this. Part of me thinks that it's almost like Christmas. Like, I wonder what it is. I can't stand it, Or maybe it is a way of kind of procrastinating, like, please, God, help this be something more important than what I'm doing, or more exciting, So I'm not really sure, but I think kind of the software trains us. Do you know that you get 4 alerts for every email? In Outlook, it says, when new items arrive in my inbox, do the following: play a sound, change the mouse cursor, put up a new system alert, and a desktop alert window. Seriously? 4 alerts? Out of every 10 emails you get, how many are really important? 1. That's what most people say. It is a true statement that the majority of incoming email is not important. Is that fair to say? But people are like, oh, I don't want to miss the one from my boss because then it's going to be that I'm not responsive. So if you turn off what are called your global alerts, go to your inbox, right-click on your manager's email, go down to rules, and click the box that says, when I get something from my boss, play a sound. In other words, eliminate the global alerts, but increase the odds that when you do interrupt yourself from something important, that it's going to be for a good reason. Wouldn't that dramatically increase the odds that it was going to be important if they were from certain people? You can also make a rule that says, if I get one from this person, delete it. That would be another rule. You could do that. But don't you hate it when an email goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and you're thinking, if we just would have picked up the phone? Right? Has this ever happened to you? Because oftentimes in our communications, we are picking the wrong medium to communicate that particular message. I loved reading a blog, and it was from Linda Clement Holmes. I don't know if she's here. Anybody else read her email diet blog? It was fantastic. She said, I'm going on an email diet. I'm only going to send 5 emails a day. And I wish you were here because I'd like to know how'd that go. But in thinking about, well, if I'm only going to send 5 emails a day, that would really force me to think differently about if it's urgent, I'm going to text you. If it's something that we need to discuss, I'm going to call you. If it's something I need to just post, I'm going to put it on SharePoint, right? I think we have to get better about matching the message to the medium. Because when we email and then, you've got 15 people on the distribution and then someone hits reply all and someone hits reply all, right? Pretty soon you have 47 unrelated strings. And so we've got to be very careful about realizing that the way we communicate impacts everyone else. I love that one-page email tradition. I think maybe we should go back to that. That's something that's a cultural thing that you're famous for in business schools, and maybe that made you think more concisely, more clearly. So when you email, you probably don't like it when you get someone just forwards you a 10-page string of email, and now you've got to read through the whole thing, right, just to figure out what's important. So maybe as a courtesy to those receiving it, the writer, as a courtesy to the recipients, would be the one who says, I'm going to summarize this email string for you, right, and put bullets up in here. And so we've got to think about how what we do impacts others. Same thing when we go to meetings. Did I set an agenda? Did I send the pre-work? Does everybody understand what I call the 3 Ps, the purpose, the plan, and the payoff? Have you ever gotten to a meeting and you find out you were expected to present about something? You're like, oh, I had no idea I was supposed to be talking about this. You're doing a little tap dance. So when we're meeting, we have to see and maybe it's a typical hour meeting. Maybe we can think about how to get that down to 30 minutes. So how can our communication in the meetings change?